All right, folks, welcome to the channel. In this segment, we're going to break down the K. Michelle's interview on the Cam News YouTube channel. But before we get into that, make sure you click, subscribe, and hit that button. And turn on all notifications because you know this is a channel that gets shadow banned. Now, K. Michelle was on Cam Newton's show, and she talked about a lot of things, some good, some bad. You watched the interview? What did you think of the interview? Or did you just watch
the
bits and
portion
pieces?
of the interview, but I just have to ask, what is the narrative? Good, bad, or indifferent? What is the bottom narrative that celebrities and that people of color are going on and selling out one another? I hate to talk about it like this, but we didn't used to be a race or a relationship of people that would do that. She talked about how she had moved from she used to live in Atlanta, right? And she had moved to Nashville, Tennessee.
In Atlanta all the time, they go to Nashville, where it's predominantly white. One, they go home at 5 and 6 o'clock when they're producing, because they go home to their families.
And she talked about the fact that, hey, at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, them country singers go home, because most country singers, she was saying, was married. But yet you have women, in our culture, you have women out here grinding, men out here hustling, calling everyone different names and and this and that. But it's really, like I said, what is the narrative? I get it, we're all culturally different, but let us just focus on some things. All of the apples don't spoil the bunch. There might be a few men out there, a few women out there that do things differently than what is normal in a relationship. But it's not everybody. Because she even talked about Cam. Low key, I don't know if you heard that part, Ty, did you?
I know, she was digging into him, and I was getting ready, like, why are you comparing country music to basically hip-hop? Those are two different genres.
Two different genres.
Okay, and one, we don't even control either one. The culture controllers control hip-hop. We've never controlled it. Okay, so stop with all the madness. That's what I was thinking, because country music, yes, there's older people in country music. That's why the music is a lot different. A lot more positive, like she said, married men and all that. But in hip hop, they have tailored it to the young people. So naturally, you're gonna have a whole different system. And that's what she's not understanding. I don't think so. But I can't really blame her because we only know what we know. We only know what we can see. So I look at her and I was like, wow, girl. Wow.
Don't you have a responsibility?
What she said, and then she started talking about black men and all that too. I was like, come on, sister.
But don't you have a responsibility, Si? You have a responsibility, K. Michelle, at whatever age it is that you are, to inform, and this is your chance. You're on the Cam Newton show. This is your opportunity. Hey, I fit in this alignment as far as you may be 40 to 45, or whatever she may be, 39 to 48, right? However, you have Glorilla, you have all of the younger people, and again, we could have unpacked that there, but no, she grouped everyone together like society would do with us, and she made an assumption based on a few for the masses, which is not
okay. And I got an auntie who live in Memphis who raised 5 kids, all hardworking kids and stuff. And of course, because Memphis is considered a black city, Nashville is considered, she said a white, but there's a lot of black people in Nashville as well. It's a black college and stuff there. One of my family members went to that school in Nashville. Okay, Tennessee State University. And then but what got me is how she was talking about how black men should step up. Of course, black men should step up, but here's the problem I have with all this talk when she was talking about the broken families and stuff. See, here's the problem, sister. I'm trying to break it down to you. No man could have sex with a woman without a woman's permission. No baby is born unless the woman says it's okay. Matter of fact, if a woman gets pregnant, she could put the baby up for adoption and the man has no say in that. So who's holding all the power? But yet you want to blame men. And so let me break it down to you. 51% of black men are childless. Okay, 30% of black men have kids within a marriage. So that leaves 20% of these black men having all these kids with all these different women. Because the media stereotyped us, nobody look at that. They make it look like all of us is out here doing bad. Just like how they do the prison stats when less than 2 to 3% of us have been in prison. But because of the media, we believe all these negative stereotypes. How about you do this, K. Michelle? Come on now. How about you do this, K. Michelle?
Do a little bit of research, find the facts.
Exactly. And why don't you tell your sisters this, K. Michelle? Why don't y'all stop being baby number 2, 3, 4, 5? Why would you have a baby with a man when you already know he got 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 baby mamas? Just like how Cam Newton is sitting there with all them baby mamas. It's because y'all all attracted to a certain type of man. Because I remember back in the 90s, women used to say, I want an educated thug. You guys are the ones who stopped liking regular black men. You guys are the ones who fell in love with men with swag. And you know what men with swag do? They get around. Do you understand that? And that's what's happening. All these sisters want to be with the same man.
Aside, we can't say that all men with swag get around, because again, you just talked about the 20%. Let's just keep it 100, brother, right? All 20%, it's only 20%. All men with swag are not running around here just per se having children. Great, populate the world. But however, in everything you have an ebb and flow. And what she was talking about was clearly just one-sided. And I just have to ask, what is the narrative? Because she had the audacity to get emotional about it.
Black men, I got to tell you, black men to really step up for black women and create families. Yeah. It's really not cool.
If you that emotional, girl, then go on and open up your own podcast. You got enough clout. Pull some brothers and sisters in and let's talk about it. Let's unwrap it. But no, you want to sit up here and you want to, again, get your 5 or 10 minutes of fame, get your new album out there. Everybody has a piece in the pie rather than trying to do what's right and tell what's right. And if I was Kim, I'm sorry, I would have checked her right then and said, hey, you know what? Hey, he laid down with them. They ended up getting pregnant. Okay?
And we know he didn't have no say if the babies was born. And another thing, she was talking about how black women need protection or need help or whatever, and they do. But here's something a lot of you sisters need to understand. All this black women bashing y'all think is going on, this is just men swinging back now, especially the young men, because they seen what we went through. They seen how sisters participated in the male bashing era. It all started with the movie Color Purple. That's when the male bashing era started. It was on Jerry Springer. Who was they making look bad? Black men. All them shows, Maury Povich, all the talk shows, Oprah, a black woman who has no respect for any black man. Matter of fact, she don't have any respect for black Americans. So y'all had y'all outlets. Okay, the only place a black man could speak his mind was in hip hop. That's why hip hop became negative, because the culture controllers changed hip hop because they knew that's the only place black men had a voice. So they changed it. But we didn't have no talk shows. We didn't have maybe 1 or 2. But for the most part, everything in the media was catered to black women. Go look at all the movies. Waiting to Exhale. Where's the black man waiting to exhale? You want me to go down the line? What love got to do? You want me? Okay, come on, K. Michelle.
Inside, you bring up a really good point. And again, we all learn from history, and there's a reason why wisdom and age comes learning and comes knowledge. And what they talked about, they had sense. What you have now is a total disrespect of men, women, and we continue to keep on with the cycle. I hate to say it, for the future man. We really do. We continue on and on to pick it up. All behind a bag. And like I said, she's going to sit there and start crying. What are you crying for? You have a platform.
And you hit it on the nose. Women doing stuff all for a bag. I grew up in an area where who all the fine girls dated? They didn't date us regular nerdy dudes or regular dudes who had regular jobs. You know who those women was going after? Not just the fine women. Just all women wanted to do the ballers, the shot callers. Y'all all was going after the same man. And even today, you hear women talking about, I want a man that's 6 feet, 6 this, 6 that. You know how many men are like that? So y'all ended up sharing the men, which is okay. It's your own personal life. But what I don't like is you stereotype all of us based on what a few do. Like I said, only 2 out of 10 is having all these babies. Yeah, the Nick Cannons of the world.
Yeah.
Think about how many kids Nick Cannon had.
But guess what?
What woman looked at him in her right mind and said, you know what, I'm going to be baby number 4, 5, 6. You know why? Because he got money.
Okay, so security. But I beg to differ with you. Back in the day, we looked at men who had a job. I don't care if you were a trash truck driver, because guess what? You had a check. I don't care if you were in the military. You got a check, not because I want your money, but because it was stable. You're going to be at home. You're going to be getting your bag. You're going to be providing for the family. We've all broken that up based on this new era, this young agenda that people are bringing. And that is the problem. We need to go back. I heard someone say a while ago, the Felicia Rashad, and how the young girls couldn't relate to him. That's right, because you know why? Nowadays, you can't take a Nicki Minaj, you can't take a K. Michelle to church, to work, to meet your mama, to meet your daddy, or whatever. Why? Because she might pop off. 2, she might get in a fight. 3, she might come half dressed. But 20, 30 years ago, you could take Felicia Rashad. You could take Vivica Fox. You could take all of these different people and you could put them in different scenarios and different situations where they were not coming unglued and not being an embarrassment to a black strong woman, period. Y'all are helping to break these sisters, and we need to stop.
In one part, she is talking to the men who should take accountability, the men who's having all these kids over there. And she was sitting with one, Cam Newton, who got 3 baby mamas. Nothing wrong with that, because like he said, he takes care of all his kids. But what a lot of people don't realize is this about the single baby mama. They try to make all the society issues because they're single women, especially in the black community. That's not true, folks. That's not true. It's not about black people. That's an urban stat. But even with that stat, our single mothers is at the same rate as other people who have similar numbers to us. Other than the Asians who have lower numbers, but everybody else, Hispanics and white, our single mothers is the same. Where it differs at is in urban communities, and the number one reason why our numbers went up for single mothers is because there's a lot of professional black women who just wanted to have a kid. And their kids are not out there committing crime. They raising their kids very well. But people want to throw this stuff back in black women's face that, because they can go, most of the men in prison came from a single home. Yeah, that might be true, but that don't mean all the single home kids are bad kids. That means a lot of times when kids grow up in a single home, it was because what they created in an urban area. If they didn't put crack there, then that single kid wouldn't have got in trouble. And I can go on and on about how you guys know redlining and all that, but that's a whole different show.
And it takes 2 to make a baby, okay? 1 to raise it, but 2 to make a baby. So I'm sorry, I'm going to side on Cam Newton. You know what? Hey, if they wanted to lay down with him and make a baby and have a baby, that's on them. Let's just keep it 100, ladies, right? You knew he had 5 or 6 different other babies' mamas. You thought you might be able to be different. But there's something called a pecking order, and you always need to remember this and follow it. There's someone else who came before you, brother or sister. So again, hey, it takes 2. Me and you.
Exactly. And with that said, folks, he said it right on the nose. It takes 2, but only one has a decision. It's like what I tell, it's a 3-step process to having a kid. That you let him lay down without protecting himself, he's just as guilty, but you the one have to make him protect himself. So no protection. Then you got pregnant. So the first 2 steps is on both of y'all. But you having the baby, that's 100% your decision. And with that said, there it is, folks. Peace.
Peace.